professional. That's why you need Ben Gellerman in there. try to, but
I'd put you on my shoulder.
Tonight, we celebrate 20 years of late-night entertainment. This is Ed McMahon, along with Doc Severinsen and the NBC Orchestra, inviting you to join Johnny with some highlights from the past. Some of the stars sharing our 20th anniversary tonight are Woody Allen, Ed Ames, David Brenner, George Carlin, Diane Carroll, Sammy Davis Jr., Steve Lawrence, Liza Minnelli, Richard Pryor, Don Rickles, Tiny Tim, Danny Thomas, Jack Webb, Robin Williams, and Flip Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Thank you. That is very, very nice of you. That makes me feel very good. 20 years ago, almost to this very night, I walked out on a stage in New York, and the audience stood up like that, and I thought they were leaving. So welcome. Here we are.
Yes, sir.
Our 20th anniversary, and by the way, this is the only television event today that, as you probably noticed, did not begin with the Star-Spangled Banner. I'm a little nervous tonight. I really am. I'm nervous. This is kind of sentimental. Moments like this only happen every 20 years, as Gene Autry said yesterday. We have fallen into the habit over the past few years of kind of dressing up for the show and getting on the tuxedo. I must point out that the band is not dressed for me. They're playing at Jeffrey Horowitz's bar mitzvah in Canoga Park right after the show, so they didn't want to waste any time. You feel good today?
Very good.
This was walking into here today was kind of nice, you know. It's sentimental, emotional, and everybody was friendly. I passed the guard down here at the artist entrance, Pop Silverman. You know, it just occurred to me, I'm looking at the people in the studio audience, and I imagine the people at home, that a lot of you here tonight were not born when the Tonight Show started, true? October 1, '62. Some of you were probably born during the show. And I have a feeling that a great many were conceived during the show. Remember we had a letter from a lady a few years ago, named her second child Alpo? Now, you have to reminisce on it. You have to forgive me, because you get emotional on shows like this, and I was just thinking, the way you put the show into a time frame, usually is with your children, right? When I started this show, my youngest boy was 9 years old. He was in the 4th grade. Today he is 30, and in the 8th grade. Corey, if you're watching, son, I love you. That's just a little joke there. We've tried to figure out from time to time how many guests we've had on The Tonight Show in 20 years. It comes to something like 35,460 guests. 32,000 of them were Tony Randall. But think of the changes.
Yeah.
John F. Kennedy was president when we started this show on October 1 of '62. Things have changed. 20 years ago, Phil Donahue referred to women as broads. Yeah. Alan Alda had a bumper sticker that said, "Keep 'em barefoot and pregnant." Things have changed. And 20 years ago, Mike Wallace's hair was really black. Do you realize 20 years ago we were in the midst of the Cuban Missile Crisis? Right? Very close to maybe a brink of a nuclear war. Today it's gotten much worse. There's no pro football on Sundays. 1962. Let me tell you how long ago that was. NBC was #1. Ronald Reagan was a Democrat, blaming Herbert Hoover for laying him off at Warner Brothers. That's how long ago it was. Do I seem nervous tonight?
Yes.
I know, you know, when I first started the show in New York City, I was nervous, awkward, and not too funny. Today, that's called the best of Carson. Since this is a sentimental occasion, before the show tonight, the Tonight Show, we had a little party. I proposed a toast, and Ed proposed to a piece of toast. You haven't changed that much, and
No.
you know, Ed gives me a wonderful feeling of security on this show. It's kind of like having the Goodyear blimp behind you. No, I mean that in the nicest sense, you know, solid.
Security.
I figure Ed and I'll do the show a little while longer, I don't know, and then we'll segue over to hosting Over Easy. I've tried to put things in time frames. 20 years ago, we started this show, and last week it was announced in the paper that a Japanese soldier from World War II emerged from the jungles of Guam. Do you believe that? For 37 years, he's existed on nuts and berries and his Toyota dealership in Cleveland. First thing he said when he came out of the cave, "Holy selling." No, but looking back, 20 years, if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it exactly the same way, with one minor exception. I think I would have gone into the Formica tabletop business instead, but outside of that, I would have done it. Look, I want you to have a good time tonight. You're going to see a lot of things on the show. Some of them go all back to the 64, 65. You're going to see a young Woody Allen, a young Richard Pryor, little excerpt from Tiny Tim's wedding. Believe it or not, you know that show, in 1969, the wedding of Tiny Tim on The Tonight Show had the second biggest rating of the year. The event that beat it out was man's first moonwalk. That shows you the priorities we have in our country, man. So stay tuned. I know it's only 2 hours out of your life, but it's 20 years out of mine. So we'll see you in just a moment. We'll be right.
This portion of this special presentation is brought to you tonight by Kraft Limited. For good food and good food ideas, look to Kraft for the very best in good taste. When most of the leaves have fallen, it's Cheese Festival time in food stores across Canada. Time to enjoy the bounty of Canadian cheese. When you choose Kraft cheese and cheese products, whether you serve them for breakfast or snacks, in sandwiches, salads, main dishes, or sauces, in or on desserts, you get a rich bonus of flavor, nutritional value, and consistent high quality. Plus, Kraft has a fascinating variety of cheese and processed cheeses to satisfy all tastes. Mild or tangy, spreadable or firm. Introduce your family to the different varieties in daily menus. Tonight, as we kick off the Great Canadian Cheese Festival, Kraft announces the Kraft Great Canadian Cheese Festival Contest. Share the bounty of great family prizes. You could win one of 3 1983 Dodge Aries station wagons. What a prize. Look for details in the October issue of Chatelaine, or pick up rules and entry forms at Kraft cheese displays at participating grocers.
So, JL, this is where you make your Kraft slices.
Right here.
With that fine cheddar, huh?
That's right, with that fine cheddar.
Come on, JL. You don't really use only your best-tasting cheddar, do you?
Only my best-tasting cheddar.
Could cut back a little. Your slices would taste almost as good.
Not good enough for a Kraft slice.
Doesn't make for good business, JL.
Makes for good slices.
We still use his best-tasting cheddar in Kraft slices. They still carry his name.
How much milk do you think went into this one block of Kraft brick cheese? Go on, take a guess. In fact, it takes the equivalent of 20 glasses of good fresh milk to make this one block of Kraft brick cheese. Fresh milk, fresh cheese. No wonder Kraft makes Canada's best-loved brick. No wonder.
Thank you, Donald. Thank you.
Congratulations.
You are back? You're shaking. You're nervous tonight, too.
A little nervous. Isn't that funny?
It's a very strange feeling around here today. I just said to our producer, Fred DeCordova, I said, Fred, where's the rundown of the show?
He said over there.
They had it hanging over there somewhere. There's nothing on the desk. Anyway, this is 2 decades.
Wow.
And you just joined us tonight. We're going to kind of reminisce and show you some of the clips. Some of them, a lot of people have requested. Some of them have not been seen, I don't think, on the anniversary show before. We're going to go back in time. Doc, come on over for a second. Sit down, will you? I want to say a couple of words before we start about Ed and Doc.
Uh-oh.
This is in no way, it never has been a
You're going to walk right straight over.
very good impression of Quasimodo. We should have caught
Close
that.
to pleading.
Unless you're sitting,
Something to tell us?
well, unless you're sitting in this chair every night, it's impossible to realize what it's like and how necessary to have somebody like Ed McMahon sitting here on my right-hand side. because this show is off the cuff. It's been spontaneous for the most part, outside of the sketches, which we rehearse. And when we start here at the desk, and sometimes I get lost, he comes in and bails me out. And I just want you to know that if I didn't have you sitting here for 20 years, I would not have been sitting here either. So I just want to thank you.
Very nice.
Should I kiss you? No.
You want to. Kiss my hand.
And one of the great musicians, everybody who comes on the show compliments Doc and the guys in the band, and justly so, because they are probably the best group of musicians working any place today as a unit. And thanks mainly to Mr. Doc Severinsen and Mr. Tommy Newsom and all the guys in the band. I thank, and especially you. Now, as you know, from time to time when you're off the show,
Right.
going around the country, stealing a little extra money,
Yes.
we're doing a telethon or something.
Yes.
Doc will come over and sit here,
Right.
and Tommy will go out and front the orchestra. You're first.
Oh.
We sometimes get into little arguments here. We have exchange information. We'll start on a subject, and all of a sudden Ed will volunteer his version of the subject. And this is what makes the show. It is completely off the cuff. And here's a little talk when I think we were talking about something I had seen on a PBS special the night before
Little bird, you say.
about the world's fastest bird. And here's a little discussion we had about that. Here's Ed trying to help me out. You know that the bird, and now this is fascinating to me. I'm just bringing it up to pass this along. There's a little educational feature. When the bird is born, for the first 3 years of its life, it never stops flying. Never.
Never. Thank you.
It never lights.
I was about to say that.
It never lights for 3 years.
Wow.
It eats in the air, I guess, insects. It mates during flight.
Boy.
Well,
Listen.
that's why they call it the swit. I don't know. What does that mean? What does that mean? That's the silliest
That's
thing
a
I've...
past of SWAT.
I know, that's the SWAT, yes. The swit SWAT, thank you. Mates in the air,
Right.
and even sleeps, apparently glides.
Yeah.
But for 3 years, the bird never...
Yeah. Well, doesn't a shark continually swim? It never stops swimming. The shark never stops swimming. All its life.
What's that got to do with my
Well, I mean,
swit?
this you say for the first 3 years. This is all its life. It never stops swimming.
But this bird is in the air.
This shark is in the water. Be silly to see a shark flying around.
You know, wait a minute, I fail to see the logic of this.
A shark never stops swimming.
A shark is buoyed by the water, its own weight. It can rest and move. But in the air, I mean, you know, it's one thing to do this for 3 years. It's another to do this.
I see what you mean.
You see the difference?
I see the difference.
Now, after 3, they figure that swit travels 1 million miles in that 3 years, and then lands. Now, I don't know what it does. You've got to say, oh.
I'm glad that's over. You're gonna give me a little shut-eye here.
Little nappy poo.
Under this tree.
I don't know why I brought that up. I was stunned by that revelation. I did not know the swit. For 3 years, the bird does nothing but fly. That's got to be boring. Now, you're right about... Now, they're not sure about sharks. They're not sure. They say that they have to keep moving, but not constantly swimming, because sharks do rest at night. So that doesn't mean that they're...
Why at night? What difference would it make to a shark? What's the difference between day or night to a shark?
The sun go down, and we
It
all
doesn't go
begin to
into the
shout.
water.
Hey, no. Yes, the sun does go into the water. There are fish that only feed at night. That are and they're called night feeders.
What a good name for them.
Yes.
Yes.
So a shark, it could be dark. Well, then the shark said, hey, it's dark. I think I'll catch you now. I don't. I'm going to check that out.
Are there any shark enthusiasts here?
Okay, all right. Fair is fair. Is there anybody, an ichthyologist here? Well, would you sit with the ornithologist? Because you... is that true about a shark?
Ah.
They swim constantly?
Once in a while after dinner or something, they may have a cigarette. But I mean, that's...
After sex, they smoke a herring. Okay. Now, smoke a herring. Now, Doc, I don't get a chance to talk with as often, but we talked one night when Ed was off, and it was around Thanksgiving. And I found out what a warm, emotional, friendly time of year Thanksgiving meant to Doc. You'll see about his explanation in just a moment. What are you doing for Thanksgiving? We're doing the show, of course, tomorrow.
I was going to ask you if you got your turkey yet.
Sure.
Do you, truthfully, do you help Mrs. Carson prepare the turkey?
Just like you helped Mrs. Severinsen prepare the turkey.
No, there is no Mrs.
Oh, that's right.
There used to be.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
The fact that I
Hard for
never
me to
helped her
keep track.
stuff her bird was one of our big problems.
I thought that was your problem. Well, no, you know, I forgot all about that. We've been together so long that I forget sometimes where we are.
Which wife are we on?
On various Thanksgivings. No, we're good.
In fact, that was one of the things we really fought about.
What? Did you?
I wanted an oyster stuffing in the turkey, and she wanted bread stuffing, and she got bread stuffing and a lot of money.
You mean you used to argue about what you're going to stuff the turkey with?
Yes.
And that was one of the problems.
She's still stuffing the turkey, but not with money.
Well, it's nice to know you have no bitterness.
Well, I always used to say, you know, I mean, you can have turkey and all that. I don't like turkey that much.
Yeah?
I said, I love lasagna. She calls up every year at Thanksgiving, says, are you having your lasagna?
They don't forget, do they?
No.
I'm sorry about that. Well, we're having a...
You didn't answer the question.
What, are we having turkey?
Yes.
No, I don't help. I don't know about that stuff.
Be careful, those turkeys, they'll get you.
You're not going to
I
celebrate.
suppose you'll be home with the family having turkey. Just a typical American family.
That's right. Now, speak
I'm just going to the Zodi's Day Parade. Watch Big Bertha come by.
Look, if you really feel badly now, I feel so terrible that you're going to be alone. Would you
I
like...
didn't say I was going to be alone.
You just said you ain't going to eat no turkey, right?
That's right.
You could come over there. Would you like to come to the house and...
This is the first time you've ever asked me.
Well, you made me feel so guilty.
I mean, you, when you ask an employee in front of 15 million people, do you want to come to the house for Thanksgiving dinner? What am I going to say? No. You know what I say? I say, yes, Mr. Carson, I love it.
Can you come?
No.
That is beautiful. No.
No. Well, things are much better now in Doc's life. I guess all of our lives. I guess it's time to do our next little segment. In the 20 years we have done this show, I don't think I was more startled the night that Tiny Tim made his very first appearance. And the first time I heard that name, you know, you all think of Tiny Tim of Dickens' A Christmas Carol. And somebody said, no, this is a fellow who calls himself Tiny Tim, and he is different. Which was the understatement of 2 decades. And normally I don't meet guests before the show, except sometimes when they're friends you say hello backstage, because we want to keep it fresh. And this is the very first appearance. I think the year was 1968. And here is Tiny Tim's first appearance on The Tonight Show.
Why don't take it from me, I'm just as free as any daughter. I do what I like, just what I like, and how I love it. I'm right here to say when I'm old and gray, I'll be right in my prime. Living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having a wonderful time. wonderful. Thank you, sir.
That's the damnedest act I've ever seen. No, that last number is very catchy. Really? No, it is. It's got a dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-bum. What's the name of that?
Living in the Sunlight, Loving in the Moonlight.
Is that an original?
No, that was made famous by Maurice Chevalier in 1929.
No, I knew that. It struck a bell someplace, but that's it. You don't do it like Chevalier.
Oh, no.
We never met until just backstage a moment ago, did we?
That's right, Mr. Carson.
Are you married?
Oh.
I'll put that down as a no.
And then Tiny Tim met Miss Vicky, and in 1969, they were married on The Tonight Show.
I do now declare that ye are husband and wife, and whom therefore God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. And the Lord bless thee and keep thee this day and unto the end. Amen. Let me kiss the bride.
Well, if you can believe it, that was an event. We had some criticism at the time for having that wedding performed on television, but I think we did it fairly tastefully, and because he was an unusual personality, and he wanted to be married on The Tonight Show.
He announced it on the air?
He announced it on the air, and if we hadn't done it, Ed Sullivan would have grabbed it immediately,
Oh, yeah.
right here on our stage, here's Tiny Tim's wedding, so we figured we better do it. How are we doing on time? Okay, one of the big stories in Hollywood the past years, you know, was the acquisition of Columbia Pictures by Coca-Cola. A lot of the major studios have owners that produce other products than just motion pictures. So it gave us an idea one night for a little sketch. And we thought what it might be like if some conglomerate with a multitude of products to sell might really alter a classic movie to make it really more commercial. For example, something like Hamlet, as done by one of these new movie studios. Here's our version. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis noble in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by posing, end them. To die, to sleep no more. And if you can't sleep no more, take Somanex tonight and sleep, safe and restful, sleep, sleep, sleep. And by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. And if you're having trouble with your shocks, get them checked at your local AMCO transmission center. AMCO, AA, MCO. Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep, or perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. Mentally, deep heating rub. There's no beating deep heating. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. And as we pause for a moment, let me ask you, are you suffering the slings and arrows of painful hemorrhoidal itching? Then try this. It worked for me, it can work for you, or my name isn't Hamlet. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. But when he travels, nobody knows him. That's why he carries this, the American Express card. Don't leave Denmark without it. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Aspects of doing this show year after year is the opportunity to watch new young comedians come on the show and then over the years develop into really solid professionals. We're going to show you some film clips. This is not necessarily the first appearance of these gentlemen on television, but very early in their career on The Tonight Show. I think you'll recognize all of them. So here they are.
And now with the latest in weather, here's Al Sleep, your hippy-dippy weatherman. Hey, what's happening? Hey, Fossa! Al Sleep here, and I imagine some of you were a little surprised at the weather over the weekend, especially if you watched my show Friday night, man. I'd like to apologize for the weather, especially to the former residents of Rogers, Oklahoma. Caught them napping. First of all, the pollen count from Long Island Jewish Hospital. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you'll take a look at our weather map, these cats have moved over here. You see that we got a warm front which extends from Natchez to Mobile. From Memphis to St. Joe. Up here's the big town, huh? You don't see me some bad cat. Stop up this Take a quick look at the radar. I see the radar tonight is picking up a line of thunder showers which extends from a point 9 miles south-southeast of Chester, Pennsylvania, along a line, and 6 miles either side of a line, to a point 8 miles north-northeast of Secaucus, New Jersey. However, the radar is also picking up a squadron of Russian ICBM. So I wouldn't sweat the thunder shower.
I was coming in from Baltimore to do the show, and, well, I was on the train there, and I'm settled in my seat. I'm very relaxed, and the
problem is, what am I going to do with him now? Oh, well. It's all your fault, Mother. Anyway, in all my years of singing, which has been about since I was 14 years old, yeah. Yay, hi.
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
Thank you.
Oh, I love you. You can come again.
I thank you for that, too. I will.
Anyway, he's always loved this one song. I don't know why, but if you can bear with me, there's 2 songs I'd like to sing tonight, and then we can all...
No, I got to turn that later on.
The first one is kind of a... And the second one is dedicated from me to my father. Because I love him so well, and he deserves it. And it's going to take a wee bit of adjustment, probably, and a turn of the page, in which I have to lick my finger, which is tacky. But I have to do that anyway. Oh, a spotlight too. Dear brother, I love you. You can come again too. Hello, Polly. I hope you will all join me.